Hello, hello, my dear friends and family. Captain Starsky here, as always. So good to see you, my friends. Quick reminder, before we start, please make sure to check out the link in the description to this video because we keep running our fundraiser for the Ukrainian border guards. We're halfway there. We almost collected half sum for the truck that will be delivered to the Ukrainian border guards, and yay, we will reach this target, but we are halfway there. What if we are all deepfakes, my friends? I asked this question for the first time probably like 14 years ago when I worked at the TV channel Ukraine, and we had a lot of different bots. And at some point, I even suggested that we can actually be like not people who have a lot of bots or create bots, but literally we can be bots who pretend they live the people's life, which is like kind of crazy. Who knows? Greetings to Cardiff. Hello, my friend. So good to see you. Of course, it's like a big pleasure to have people from Cardiff watching us. All the prayers, all the best wishes, all the rays of love go to legendary people from Cardiff Oblast. I hope that everything will be fine with you, my friends. Larry, hello, Ali, Brigitte, it wasn't me, my tiny music, and Katya, and Newman, and everybody else. Hello, hello. Russell, Sim, Stephen, and Sweet Tooth. Everybody, hello, my friends. That's what I do. I've been a bot all along. Yeah. Sometimes you do feel like one. Actually, I agree. I completely agree on that. But today we will talk about something different because, as you probably know, this month, and generally the past 3 months were completely stationary for Russians on the front lines. They literally didn't move much, and sorry, I forgot to make myself coffee, and I'm suffering, but I will keep suffer because Russians didn't move much, and if you look at the statistics for the past 3 months, I would say even 4 months, there were no significant advances at all, despite the fact that Putin shows like those cringy maps showing that Lviv is captured and the Russian army is bravely fighting somewhere in the vicinity of Warsaw. But of course, we know that it's not the case. Loomer is a shell 100%, my friend. Please check out Vlad Wexler. He does a great breakdown on her videos. Highly advised, highly advised. Generally speaking, Vlad is absolutely amazing person who has a lot of knowledge that I don't know, specifically the knowledge in terms of human psychology. It's like he's genius. If you're not subscribed yet, please do. So returning to our topic, because Russia cannot move much, Russia suffers some difficulties in terms of delivering supplies to the front line to its terrorists and carpet snatchers there on the front. And besides that, of course, they lack the carpet snatchers themselves. They need to find them somewhere. The number of cannon fodder is shrinking. Hello, my friend. What next meal? Next meal will be some very tasty Russian disinformation in just a second. So basically, they need everybody. We saw attempts of Russia dragging Belarus into the war several times. You know that there are some kind of preparations taking place on the Belarusian territory, the Russian retransmitters, and stuff like that. Besides that, of course, they are searching for cannon fodder in African countries, in South America, and of course, Russians are searching for cannon fodder in Iran. In Iran, they were not really successful. Since 2022, I have solid information that we managed to turn a bunch of Iranian Iranian military into a fertilizer in Crimea, but that's basically it. Basically, they were a bunch of instructors preparing the Russian personnel and training them to use Iranian Shaheds. That was the only case. And of course, we reported about that. Khamenei, while he was still alive, he ignored that. He didn't say anything. So that's it. Watched with Daniel. Thank you so much. Yeah. Seriously, I never thought that I will ever have stream with Daniel, but people said that they would like to see me there. I couldn't refuse, and even most importantly, I couldn't refuse. I couldn't reject a birthday wish because, like, I'm not an animal, all right? So that was the only case when Ukraine and Iranians were like exchanging fire directly. You probably all know that Iran sold thousands of drones before the full-scale invasion to Russia. After the full-scale invasion, sold them technology. And currently, Russia is using Iranian technology, launching those Shaheds at Ukraine, because Shahed itself is an Iranian word, right? It's not Russian, no matter how much they try to like disguise it, Gerbera, whatever. So, you probably know about this one. Recently, Ukraine hit an Iranian vessel. Ukraine hit an Iranian vessel and the oil rig in the Caspian Sea. And current Iranian regime was actually very, very mad about that. The vessel itself was smuggling weapons to Russia and from Russia to Iran, all right, like between both countries. And knowing that, Ukrainians sent a bunch of good Ukrainian drones and basically stopped this vessel from doing that, because it's ay. You don't trade weapons with Russia because this automatically turns you into our enemy. And of course, Iranian regime was very, very mad. You remember that a bunch of Iranian publics actually posted those cringy infographics showing that Iranian ballistic missiles can reach Kyiv and beyond. And the official response was that Kyiv, obeying the order received from Israel, that, by the way, refused to give Ukraine Iron Dome in 2022, and many, many other things, right? So Kyiv, allegedly obeying the order from Israel, attacked the Iranian ship and killed like civilian people, smuggling how to say it, innocent, not really civilian weapons. So they were basically, Kyiv, how could you do that? On the other hand, you know, when Iranian regime or Russia mention like international law and everything else, it's kind of like cringy, right? I hope you agree with me on that. But what happened next was actually very interesting. Israel loves Russia 100%, my friend. I can confirm this because basically Benjamin Netanyahu said himself that he calls Putin often. Recently, he was bragging on one of his interviews that some of Russia's representatives called Israel a major international power, which like, I don't know how to comment, but if Russians are saying something good about you, then apparently something is very, very wrong with you, my friend. And many other things, but it's like a completely separate topic. Ukraine receiving orders from Israel, that's something new. Ukraine was often called like America's puppet and everything else. Ukraine stopped being an America's puppet because even Trump himself realized that he, as a puppeteer, cannot do much, actually, because Ukraine doesn't want to give up. So, after all those diplomatic statements were made, and it kind of settled down a bit, something very, very interesting happened. You know, some of my acquainted Iranians go like, dude, why the hell do Ukrainian servicemen threaten Iran all of a sudden? They are saying that they love Jews, hate Israel. 100%, my friend. So why do they threaten Iran? Why do they threaten to like join the war with the United States and attack Iran? I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell? They're like, video was made. I'm like, I haven't watched it yet, but I already feel that it's like some very, very low quality propaganda. Check this out, my friends, all right? Because I have it for you. So they sent me this video, and I'm like, whoa. And this video was actually published on a few Iranian communities in different messengers, different platforms, gathering thousands and thousands of reactions, because actually this video is very interesting.
Звернення к шиїтським шайтанам із Ірану. Вам, схоже, було мало одного корабля. Так ми ще спалимо.
What he says here is basically the text itself made me just literally roll on the floor laughing and crying because it's just so perfect. All right. So on the video, you can see three individuals hiding their faces, cowardly hiding their faces and their patches, just like Russians, coincidentally, right? Because generally Russians are known for hiding their patches since like 2014, Crimea and yada yada. Yeah, but they don't sound Ukrainian. Yes, I will talk about this. So first of all, you can see like three individuals cowardly hiding their faces because, Nazi regime supporting Israel, obeying Israel, supporting America and stuff like that. Of course, they need to hide their faces because they're all cowards, those cowardish Ukrainians. And then he says, you shaitans, you devils, like you all believers, all the Muslims who believe in God, you are all devils, all right? Like, because we are true nets, like in this meaning. And then he also says, because according to this narrative, you need to confirm that, yes, Ukraine is fighting against you. Basically, he says, one ship wasn't enough for you, so we can do it one more time. We, with our American brothers, like literally, I'm quoting, we with our American brothers were, punishing you sexually, and we will continue doing that. All right? Which again, for like people in Iran, is like obviously a very, very big insult because they don't talk like that. And in the end, he says death to Iran. Of course, it doesn't say like death to Khamenei, death to Islamic regime. No, death to all Iranian people, because, that's exactly what Ukrainians say. Ukrainians that generally don't wear like armored vests, don't wear patches, hide their faces because they are cowards and stuff like that. So it was such a cliche. I was like, boom, like really? Oh my God, this is perfect. If it wasn't so cliche, it would be almost good, all right? But it kind of was. And then, of course, the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation, together with the Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, also confirmed that this video is fake because, like, come on, guys, have you seen Ukrainians looking like that? Like Ukrainian soldiers, ever? Please tell me that. Serious. They do look like, like Russians who invaded Crimea almost 12 years ago, but like Ukrainian soldiers, they don't look like that. Look at Ukrainian soldiers on the videos, at least from time to time, Russians. But of course, the cringiest fact was the sound. The thing that immediately attracted my attention when I heard this.
Не тільки їх. Ви, гівно свиней, на підошві всього цивілізованого та демократичного миру.
When I heard this, where he says, you are the feces of pigs on the face of all democratic world, I'm like, is he a why the hell does the dude talk like me? I mean, why the hell does he talk like a host? As if it's like he's making a dub for a television. What the hell is going? Ukrainian soldiers don't speak like that. They don't go like, long, long time ago in a galaxy far away. You know, fuck, like I do that, right? Like Yena from UATV does like that. Ukrainian soldiers don't speak like that at all. I can tell you, Ukrainian soldiers generally they speak like, well, I have like here I have machine gun. There I grow my onion on the position. Yeah, well, that's what I do. I know because I interviewed them 1,000,000 times as a press officer. Ukrainian soldiers don't speak like that at all. But of course, if you are an Iranian who never heard Ukrainian language at all in your life, and then you're watching that, the main message goes like there in the titles, you don't understand. Yes, my friend, unfortunately no coffee. I literally finished one. I have like very, very beautiful cup, but no coffee in it. And that was like the biggest, the second I heard the voice, I'm like, that's such a bad generated voice. Very, very bad. Seriously, you could try better. However, the deepfake itself is actually very, very good because when you look at them, almost nothing attracts your attention. All right, almost nothing. Like the camouflage and everything looks legit. However, when you take a bit closer look at, for example, at their camouflage, all right, you can see that all of a sudden it starts dancing. The stains change their shape all of a sudden for some reason nobody can explain. And why is it jumping every like half a second? Well, the answer to that is because when you generate video using AI, basically it generates a frame after frame. Here, take a look at those like dancing stains, changing shape. That's so interesting. So basically every frame is generated from previous frame. The generation itself is actually very, very good. I agree on that. But it's never perfect, and AI actually never does it perfectly. That is the reason why they are basically standing on this video without moving. All right, because that's easier. If you look at this video closer, you can see. Okay, so that's Iran. Yeah, that makes me so cringe when people say Iran. That's Iran. I ran somewhere. Yeah. So that's one thing, because AI never does it perfectly. AI does it very, very nicely, all right, but never perfectly. And then the dude kind of crashes that Iranian flag on the video, and we can see something that I think even Harry Houdini. Look at that, yay, disappearing hand and emerging from that stuff. All right, like, oh, where did your hand go, my friend? Like, what kind of magic is that? Seriously. Yeah, and that is why, by the way, this very fragment is the last second of this video, all right? Because if you look at it closely, you can immediately see why it's a deep fake. So they published this video, and Iranians actually reacted to this video in the social media in a very, very nasty way. Like, there was like thousands of reactions, like death to Ukraine and stuff like that. But it's not all, my friends, because approximately 2 days after that video was published, the social media spewed another video, all right, this time coming kind of from Iranians. And I watched it, and then I asked my Iranian friends, like, okay, now it's my turn to ask you, what the hell? Check this out. So on this video, you can see basically reference to this one, and then this like very, very angry and very tactical Iranian dude showing like a middle finger to those Kurdish Ukrainians, because again, if you take a look at the difference, right here you can see Kurdish Ukrainians hiding their faces and patches and calling all the Iranian people a pig feces and stuff like that, and threatening. And here you can see brave and actually very, very tactical Iranian dude showing them what Iranian people really think about all those threats and United States and everything else. And basically there you can see this address on the Instagram, right? And like the rest of the video is basically some tactical movements, and they shoot a target using, I think that's Heckler Koch MP5 submachine gun. Never made in Russia. Something very, very interesting to see, by the way, in Iranian army that generally uses old Soviet shit as a weapon. So I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I understand that this is the way the propaganda works, all right, because you have a provocation, you have a reaction to this provocation. What the hell is that? And Iranians looking at that, they go, that's not our guys. I'm like, what do you mean? So in Iran, they have army, they have like those guards, they have so-called Nopo, the analog of Ukrainian Berkut before the Revolution of Dignity, basically like secret police dispersing crowds, arresting people and stuff like that, Spetsnaz and yada yada. And they go like, those are not the guards, because in the description to the video in the social media, this video was presented as the response from the guards of the Islamic Revolution to those Kurdish Ukrainians hiding their faces. They go, they're not guards. I'm like, why? They go, well, look at this video closer. Like, do you see what the dude is wearing? Well, bandana. Yeah, like the mask. All right. So what? Like everybody. If you look at the war in Ukraine, everybody on both sides of the front is wearing that stuff. Both Ukrainians, Russian terrorists, everybody wears that stuff. And they go like, no, they don't wear skulls. Like, why? They go because the guards, it doesn't matter how aggressive they are, how stupid they are, it doesn't matter if they're bullies or not. They never wear that, my friends, because they consider this stuff a satanism. And basically, when Iranians see, like specifically the Iranian guards, see those skulls somewhere, they actually point a finger at that and they say, look, that is basically the influence of American satanism, like all those skulls, death and stuff. Iranians don't wear that. Not a single Iranian guard of Islamic Revolution would ever wear a freaking skull on his body, because it's forbidden, it goes against their faith, all right? That's one thing. Second thing, look what he does. Like, okay, guys, I know a lot of Iranians, like different ones. It takes such an effort to force some Iranian to actually show you a middle finger and say fuck you, because again, doesn't matter how atrocious the regime is and everything else, to make an Iranian person say fuck you. If you know Iranian people there in the chat, you can confirm this. They never say that. It doesn't matter how much they hate somebody, they will never call somebody a motherfucker, or like they never say like F you and stuff like that. It's so unnatural. It's very natural for Russians, of course. Yeah, like I agree, they say that to their kids and stuff. Ukrainians, of course, we love cursing our enemies, all right? That's in our blood. That's basically it's not part of our everyday's life, but it's part of our resilience and the way we respond to our enemies. But like seeing an Iranian person actually like doing that is completely unnormal. And if like only if you don't know Iranian people, you would actually believe that. And most probably that's the reason why this video was made. And another interesting fact, of course, again, that was actually debunked immediately within like first minutes of watching this video, is of course this Instagram address doesn't exist. All right, so no po Iran, like that secret police. This address doesn't exist on Instagram, and it doesn't exist on internet at all. If you can find it, please do. I searched, maybe I didn't search well enough, but I didn't see it, I couldn't find it, and I couldn't even confirm that this video was actually made by somebody from Iran. All right. So when you look at Iranians, at Iranian guards, Iranian special forces, and everybody else, of course, like they wear helmets, they never look like tactical like that. Generally speaking, most of their videos are very Soviet-ish, all right, like Soviet propaganda, basically like Russians used to make in like 1980s, something like that. They wear helmets, they carry Kalashnikovs, they what's with the very American freedom cap? Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Why is the graffiti all Western languages? Who knows? Maybe the answer is that those are like, you know, Iranian guards of Islamic Revolution who already landed somewhere, you know, in like Oklahoma or in Borshcheyivka somewhere. I don't know. Again, completely no farce. And yeah, like it's completely understood, even a blind person, and even like if person's IQ is the level of a seashell during mating period, it's still very hard to take this video seriously, right? As if it was made by Iranians somewhere in Iran. But that's basically the thing. So I hope that soon we will receive some like official response from, let's say, again, Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Maybe they will ask some questions. Generally, it would be very interesting to see some reaction from Iranians themselves, for example, embassy, because they need to understand that the Russians, who, by the way, did nothing at all to save Iran from American attack, besides, of course, sharing intelligence. The only thing they really need is more cannon fodder. All this is made for one simple purpose, because Russia needs more cannon fodder. Russia needs to drag more and more people, more and more allies of Russian regime into the war, to join them, because Russia feels very bad at this point, right? They feel very very much unable to reach the goals that they want to reach. like taking whole territory of Donbass and stuff like that by New Year of 2023. All right, yes, they're struggling big time. And basically, that is why they need more cannon fodder to join the Russian war effort. And that is why they create things like that. They also create a lot of other fakes that are aimed at provoking like international hatred, hate speech, and stuff like that. Because if you remember the most recent diplomatic conflict between Ukraine and Poland, it was calculated that 75% of all the information with all the hate speech directed at Ukrainians, directed at Ukrainian refugee in Poland, and we can see a lot of results of that, like almost every day somebody's being beaten in the Polish, like whatever Polish voivodstvo, generally in Poland. 75% came actually from the Russian resources, all right? Because Russia produces fakes about like all those evil Ukrainian refugees who don't want to work, who only want to take your money, but they somehow also take all of your job vacancies, all right? Dear Poles, and that is why you need to hate Ukrainian refugees. So that is like one of the messages, and it's literally just multiplied by the whole Russian propagandist ecosystem like crazy. One thing that I can currently see is that the Russians have activated their bot farms, their fake media, and their disinformation campaign big time, because you can see amazing pictures of what is happening in Russia almost daily, right? Starting with the lines to the gas stations, finishing with burning warehouses, burning Russian economy, and also burning Russian troops on the Ukrainian soil. And because their military, their conventional weapon sucks so bad. Basically, they decided to refer to what they do best, which is basically bullshit, lie, and deceive. And that's kind of threatening, my friends. Kind of threatening. So, what else do we have? Of course, so we can talk just a bit about other news. Again, I want to remind you, my dear friends, to check out the fundraiser link in the description to this stream. Help the Ukrainian border guards. We're fundraising for a truck together with Car for Ukraine. Please check it out. And I don't know, as a summary, I can tell you this. Very, very easy to believe everything you see on the screen, especially if it's AI generated videos made by Russians, because Russians are extremely good at that. But on the other hand, it's also not that hard to debunk. Like the very messaging in that video allegedly portraying Ukrainians, right? It was just so perfect. So perfect if you want to make Iranians hate you. Like, speak like that. Like everything was just the way the Russians describe in their playbooks. So, what's that? Новосемейкина.
Ничего не бывает, открывать.
I don't
Она
even
как раз
know.
серединка там. Там просто сразу облако бывает.
Another fire show on the Russian territory. I believe that's already 14th wild berries warehouse turning into a volcano. Currently, there are 14 out of 24 that are the biggest warehouses on the Russian territory that were attacked by the good Ukrainian drones. I believe 12 of them burned completely. So a few of them were hit, and majority of them, I believe 12 shtuk, were completely burned. But like, it's not even interesting anymore. All this stuff is happening in Russia every single day. I want to talk about something else. Recently, there was some very interesting event in the Moscow downtown where a party involving a Russian general, a bunch of high-ranking Russian war criminals, became a blast, like literally, all right? And currently, we still don't have confirmation that, at least as of now, I didn't see it myself. The confirmation that the chief of the Russian Air Force became a toast. I know that some very, very interesting call signs did, so like call sign Maria, call sign Danil, call sign Vasya, Petya. That was very, very cringy to see. But I wanted to talk about something else because that one, actually, we don't have much details and much confirmation. So I wanted to talk about a different event that took place in Kharkiv just recently involving Igor Obolensky, involving Colonel Igor Obolensky, who is a commander of the Second Corps Hartia of the National Guard of Ukraine. So Igor Obolensky was my battalion commander back in like 2015, back in my brigade, because basically he started as a commander in my brigade in those years. Later, he was transferred to other units. There was an assassination attempt to actually eliminate Colonel Obolensky in Kharkiv. A dude tried to shoot him using a Makarov pistol, which you probably know what I think about Makarov pistols. That would be already a failure. But what happened? He didn't chamber the round, and that is why he couldn't commit this crime. All right, and the handler of this assassin talked to him via the headphone during this attack, during this attempt. So they detained this assassin, who later said that he was actually recruited by some unknown anonymous people on the internet, who said that they are the representatives of security service of Ukraine, operators, and they want this man to eliminate a very, very dangerous Russian war criminal who pretends to be a Ukrainian officer, Igor Obolensky. So that's his version, which, by the way, sounds very, very similar to, remember the assassination attempt against Serhiy Sternenko, like last year, I believe. Same story, when a woman was recruited by some unknown dude on the internet, and the dude said, I work for security service of Ukraine, I love you so much, like romance and everything. Then he said, okay, I will give you a pistol, you need to shoot this dude who is actually a Russian spy. All right, like, I don't know who even believes this crap, because everybody in Ukraine knows Serhiy Sternenko, right? You have to be a complete foreigner, probably, in order not to know Serhiy Sternenko. His face, everybody knows him. Igor Obolensky, that's a different story, but still, I don't think that it's the case. Maybe that's literally what he was told to say, all right? By the FSB dudes. That's just my opinion. That's that's the way I see it. All right. So the assassin was detained. You know his version. Luckily, For all of us, Colonel Obolensky is fine, he wasn't wounded, everything is great. And generally speaking, the assassin is actually very, very lucky that he wasn't eliminated himself, because Colonel Obolensky is a really nice shooter. All right, he shoots really, really well. I also shoot really, really well, and Colonel Obolensky also knows that, because I remember when he called me and said, dude, do you know that you shoot down the last working drone in the 54th Brigade? And I'm like, yes, unfortunately, I know that. So that was the man, my friends. That was the man. What else do we talk about? We have a few interesting topics to discuss, but regardless of the fact if the assassin actually knew that he was trying to murder an actual commander of a Ukrainian corps of the National Guard, or if he was actually deluded, no idea. But on the other hand, like, how crazy is that? Like, Jesus Christ. You need to be very, very gullible to actually do that, unless, of course, you're promised a lot of money. All right. And Ukrainian people are not that gullible, trust me. So I just think that he was offered a big sum of money. There was another more notorious case than this one, for example, the assassination of Andriy Parubiy in Lviv. That was a different case. We talked about that as well. But we can see that the Russian FSB is trying to cope with what Ukrainian SBU does on the Russian territory. Because if you take a look at the Operation Spiderweb, if you take a look at Operation Scooter, if you take a look at many other operations successfully conducted on the Russian territory, and compare to what the Russians do themselves, all right, because what the Russian FSB is famous for, or rather notorious for in Ukraine, they are notorious for hiring teenagers as bombers, all right, that self-eliminate while delivering their IEDs. And basically, yeah, they recruit people to commit assassinations and fly drones over München from time to time. Basically, that's everything the FSB can do. All right. Because yes, they suck, my friends. They don't suck completely. They are still better than, unfortunately, a lot of foreign intelligence agencies think, but generally SBU suck balls big time, all right, especially compared to the Ukraine FSB suck balls big time compared to Ukrainian SBU, 100%. And I can tell you that they will keep trying, unfortunately, because why their target was Igor Obolensky is because Second Corps, the Khartia, which was still a brigade when I served. All right, Khartia is very, very effective at eliminating terror Russians. Recently, they used new tactic involving a lot of UAVs and UGVs, basically trying to keep the personnel away from the front as much as possible, and conducting their land operations, their ground operations using robots only. Khartia was among the first brigades, the first units of the National Guard and units in the Ukrainian defense sector in general, who actually conducted a ground operation using only drones for the first time in history. It happened literally, I believe, like last year in winter. So they're very good, and Russians hate Obolensky very, very much. And of course, his assassination would be a very big strike on the Ukrainian defenders. But the FSB failed because FSB sucks balls, my friends. You gotta remember this. They are dangerous, but they also suck because they think that they are like the best in the world, which is not the case. Ukraine proved it over and over and over again. FSB also sucks in terms of protection. For example, the Ukrainian collaborationists who ran to the Russian territory, Kiva, Russian generals, and many, many others, they do suck. That's like the message that I wanted to share with you, my friends, just to make sure that you understand. What else do we have? We have some very, very cringy information coming from Russia, because Russia, as you probably know, they have lessons in schools and kindergartens talking about the war, about the necessity to die for Putin, to become a fertilizer for the Russian Empire. And that's basically what they teach the kids as early as in the kindergarten, which is something ISIS does, all right, which is something the terrorists usually do, because otherwise they would not be terrorists enough. And we have some very, very interesting information coming from Russia itself, where the Russian Ministry of Education of future invaders actually included information about the Russian so-called heroes of the invasion of Ukraine into the books for the kids. Which exactly books are we talking about? We are talking about the books of Russian language, not history, not even freaking Russian literature, Russian language. This is how you combine words, kids, okay? This is how you pronounce and write letters, okay? Don't forget about this. We write moloko, but we say malako, okay? It's very important to remember. Besides that, dear kids, you probably know that there are heroes of Russia fighting for you in a foreign country. Bringing you toilets and stolen carpets from Ukraine because they protect you. They protect you far away in a foreign country, fighting to bring you more territory and stolen goods that belonged to other people. Okay. It's kind of cringy because I believe that if they continue like that, they will soon include mentions of the Russian terrorists, Russian invaders, into books of like biology, mathematics, geometry, physics. All right, let's talk about the law of thermodynamics, but also let's mention, the Russian Vityazi fighting in the foreign country for Ukrainian territory. Okay, because it's very important to talk about them, to remind you, to grow new generations of cannon fodder that dies for Putin. I mean you, dear kids. Okay, that is just so cringe, in my personal opinion. When you look at those books, that's insane. The laws of thermodynamics. How how exactly the temperature inside the Russian helmet changes when a Ukrainian drone smashes into the golf cart driven by this brave Russian soldier on the picture. How do you think, dear kids? Something like that, I think. Why am I showing you this? It's because, besides the Russian Ministry of Education, that, of course, follows orders from Putin, from Kremlin, and they don't give a shit about their kids. They need to provide cannon fodder to their state, all right? I don't know what the teachers think when they talk, for example, to a 5-year-old or to a group of 5-year-olds, and grow them as future invaders. They say, Russian army is very good. We are fighting on donkeys and golf carts. But even despite this fact, we still destroyed hundreds and hundreds of Leopard tanks of those satanist Europeans. And when you grow up, dear kids, you should also sign contracts and go fight in a foreign country, protect your Russian motherland in other countries, because that's your fate. Like, imagine being a freaking teacher, educating kids and growing kids into a freaking future invaders. And basically, some Tamara Petrovna, Marivana, some teacher of Russian language, goes to bed, and this old Russian F-tard, before going to sleep, smiles, thinking about the kids she freaking brainwashed, and pushed them towards, I don't know, growing up, signing contract, and becoming a fertilizer in a foreign country. She must be so happy for actually growing like Russian shahids, all right, Russian bombers, Russian, I cannot say this word on a YouTube, Russian S-bombers, all right, Russian fighter bombers and stuff like that. Like, I'm smiling, but actually there's nothing to laugh about, because this is actually very, very sad to see what Russia has turned into when they actually have military camps for indoctrinating children, teaching them how to clear trenches, how to clear buildings, teaching the little kids CQB with live ammo, teaching them how to give first aid, not in terms of civilian medicine and stabilization, but in terms of combat medicine, and basically growing generations of kids, just like Adolf did in Nazi Germany 80 years ago. All right. That is very, very sad to actually see what Russia does. And those who admire Russia for some reason, they should actually watch more of what they do in places like Children Military Camp Avant-Garde in Volgograd and many, many other places. Unfortunately, we already have a case when a Ukrainian kid from the occupied territory was recruited and most probably got eliminated in one of the meat assaults that Russians enjoy doing so much. There's already such confirmation. I literally noticed it, I believe, this morning, and it's very, very sad. The dude himself was like, I don't know, 18, 19. Right. He grew up on the occupied territory of Ukraine. He never heard even a single word in his own language. He was raised by the Russian occupiers and Russian cannibals, indoctrinated, forced to sign contract, and basically sent into a meat assault as an Untermenschen, because technically those people living in Donbass, they are Ukrainians. To Russians who don't give a damn about their own soldiers, the Ukrainian people are even less valuable than those. So that's something we should. I would like that to be more accessible to people who advocate for Russia, or at least like support Russia, because they should understand that what they do is actually evil. And by the way, Russian propagandists and people who receive money to retransmit Russian propaganda, in my personal opinion, I talked about this, but I keep talking about this, they are even worse than the Russian invaders themselves, for a very, very simple reason. Russian dude taken from some, I don't know, Ulan-Ude or Ryazan, forced or tricked to sign contract and sent to Ukraine, and immediately turned into a fertilizer by the Ukrainian FPV. That dude does something for money. Of course, he commits a crime, because from both standpoints of like legality and morality. You cannot justify invading a foreign country, whatever, for money, for ideology. Like, you don't do that, all right, in 21st century, if you're a civilized person. But he's basically a cannon fodder. As soon as you sign contract, you turn into a freaking a freaking machine. That's it. They give you order, and you just do your order. No matter if you hate Ukrainians because you were indoctrinated like most of the Russians, or if you just do it because you are a soldier. Like, it doesn't matter. You do your order, and basically, yeah, you die. You turn into a Ukrainian tomato that grows on your place after a while. Those who retransmit Russian propaganda, they know that they do evil, all right? They know exactly that Russian soldiers die in impressive amounts every single day. Just this morning, it was announced that over the past 24 hours, 1,500 Russians became better in Ukraine. All right. The numbers are astonishing. The Ukrainian drones grow in number, in their technology, all right. Their technological level grows. Russians try to send as many cannon fodder as possible into the meat assault, but they cannot reach our positions because there's 3-5 Ukrainian FPV drones per single Russian, all right. And the propagandists know about this. They know that Russia is grinding people. They know that Putin is a war criminal. They know that they invade a foreign country. They commit a crime. They violate international law. But they still speak about this, hoping that when the war is finished and when Russia collapses, they will never face responsibility. But I have some very, very bad news for them. Because, before Russia collapses, something very, very bad may be done to them, but by their Russian handlers. For a very, very simple reason: they know too much. And Russians don't like people who know too much, even if those people work for them. All right, there are many cases. Check out the list of all the Russian oligarchs and generals mysteriously becoming better or being sucked from a window or something like that. In Russia, happens all the time. All right. So something bad may happen to them, and generally speaking, as a former law enforcement officer, the only thing I can offer to them, the only thing I can suggest is that, generally speaking, cooperation with European police is much better, because a prison cell in The Hague is actually a much safer place than in Moscow somewhere. All right, Moscovian windows. Moscovian windows are very, very nasty and dangerous. Yeah, but let's return to our topic, all right? Because I got distracted as always. This ADHD sucks. Russian Church went even further than those like books for kids, because recently not only Patriarch Kirill stated in his interview that actually nuclear weapons is a divine thing that ever happened, the most divine thing that ever happened to Russia. Actually, patriarch of a church that pretends to be Christian says in the interview that it's actually cool to have nuclear weapons, because we are fighting holy war against the evil West and all other satanic countries. Only North Korea is not satanic. They are very Orthodox, as well as Iran, by the way. Very Christian, very Orthodox and stuff. Yeah, so Patriarch Kirill, actually also known as Gundyaev, also known as former KGB spy who operated in Switzerland before the collapse of the USSR. So he stated that, yeah, actually it's very, very good to have nuclear weapons. But they went even further because they officially adopted at least 12 prayers for war. Basically, what they say is like, "Dear God, I pray to you, please help our soldiers, kill more of those satanic Ukrainians, I don't know, Poles and stuff like that." I'm not even sure if they mention much Ukrainians in those prayers because, again, according to the Russian mythology, there's like no Ukrainians in Ukraine anymore. Whole population disappeared. The streets are empty. There's only like Polish and American and German mercenaries on the streets. No Ukrainians at all, which is kind of like Russians do believe this, all right, and unfortunately, some people in the West do too. Yeah, but what else do you expect from the Russian Church of Genocide and Atrocities? The church that actually baptizes and blesses weapons of mass destruction, all right, like those nukes that on the West are known as Satan, like the Russian nuclear missile Satan is a very, very legit thing to bless, all right, if you are a Russian priest, 100%. Of course, they are known for doing other cringy and unholy things. For example, the Russian Church is known for supplying its terrorists on Ukraine because turns out that Russian Church also wants more territory that belongs to a different country, and that is why they help the Russian terrorists as much as they can. Here, for example, you can see the Russian representatives of Russian. Oh, by the way, we have a commentary from the Russian degenerate there in the chat. Sanya Good 88, because he's not a Nazi at all, by the way, and basically he just cursed a lot of people in the chat that the fucker barely knows. But I am sure one thing, that soon he will meet Prigozhin personally, and it will be a fantastic meeting. But speaking about the Russian Church, Ali, please do something to this degenerate. On the other hand, I don't know, maybe let him live, because I want him to see this. Russian Church of Genocide, stolen toilets, stolen carpets, Russian Church that supports the army that rides donkeys into the combat, Russian Church that blesses weapons called, I don't know, Satan and built to kill other people, Russian Church that calls to the holy war against the civilized West, and yada yada. That very Russian Church also supports its army and supplies its army with interesting things. For example, they brought a bus to those Z-generals there on the screen. You can see like those three alcoholics, all right. Alcoholics that won't live long because, as you know, that's like Russian trend. But they brought a school bus to the front. And what makes this case specifically interesting, all right, is like the word deity on this bus. I'm sure that you know what this word means, because if you remember Russians hitting the theater in Mariupol in the first year of the war, you remember that there was this word like written in 10-meter long letters in front of this theater. So the Russian war criminals flying their aircraft would not strike it, which they hit it directly, knowing that there are children and civilian population taking cover in the theater. So the Russian Church supplies Russian army with school buses. Why do they do that? I talked about this in one of my previous videos, because currently Ukraine is very, very good at deatomizing Russian logistics. Basically, why Russia sucks so bad on the front line is because of Ukraine's famous mid-strike campaign. And basically, all the fuel, all the stuff that Russians are trying to bring to the front line is happily burning together with those who try to deliver it, right? Due to the good Ukrainian drones, basically punishing Russian troops anally in the operational rear. On the occupied territory of Ukraine and sometimes on the territory of the stinking Russian swamps themselves. But why do they bring specifically school buses? Okay, it's because when you carry munitions in those school buses, and by the way, you can see those green boxes. In those green boxes, usually you carry man pads like Strela, the carried surface-to-air missile, all right? For obvious reason, because as you probably know, Russian air defense sucks big time these days, and they need to have whatever they have to protect their troops from good Ukrainian drones and missiles and stuff, and that is why they use school buses marked with the word kids to make sure that Ukrainians don't hit it. To deliver, here might be water, of course, it says like drinking water, and there you have like a bunch of green boxes with manpads. They use those buses to deliver stuff. They hope that Ukrainian drone will see the word kids and will just ignore the bus, because like it's a freaking school bus, right? If the drone recognizes that, like, all right, there's no kids in this bus, only like a bunch of very, very suspicious kids wearing helmets and body armor, all right, and a lot of strange boxes, and then the drone decides that, actually worth striking. It was a good attempt, but yes, worth striking, and then strikes the bus. You can imagine all the screaming, all the shouting in the Russian media, who will be like showing this burned bus with the word "Дети" on its side. Look at what Ukrainian Nazi did. Look at those Ukrainian maniacs. That is why Russia is defending itself on the Ukrainian territory. That is why we are fighting this war against Satanists who strike school buses brought to our troops by the Russian church. That's just so you know, my friends. Very cringy. Again, it's kind of cunning, it's kind of smart, but it's not smart enough, in my personal opinion. So, I'm not sure what to talk about else. I think that we can just have a chat and literally ask and answer questions. Yeah, again, surprised to see our little Russian fan in the chat. I haven't seen them for a while. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because like Ellie, Katya, Newman work so well, most probably because of that. Yeah, but haven't seen them for a while. But it actually tells me a lot of things. First of all, the fact that the Russian rears are burning because they react to such content. And of course, if they react to this, it means that it's important to them. And that is why they basically post a lot of shit in the commentaries. Not only related to like the topic, but you can see all sorts of shit posted. You published a video dedicated to, like, I don't know, burning wild berries or this, all right, like Russian fakes trying to collide Ukrainian and Iranian people, all right, and stuff like that. And immediately under this video, you can see commentaries like Ukrainians killed 100,000 Polish people in Volhynia. Why don't you talk about that? Now you know what it means. Like, I almost believe that you're like a real Pole. I almost do. But Palisha, you are we are rage baiting the Vatniks. Yeah. Again, like if you see them in the chat, it means that they actually care about what you say. This topic is actually very important to the Russians, and that is why they react to this. Freud would tell you more. All right, I'm not as smart as Sigmund Freud, but yeah. Yo, my friend, I haven't seen you for a while, by the way. For some reason. Yeah. And that is why it makes me satisfied when I see them in the chat. Besides, they don't often say something interesting, but what they say can actually be used against them easily. Because generally they are not that smart. Just like their FSB, they suck. Did Starsky show the big checklist bingo card with all the wild berries locations? Just a second, my friends. I have it right here for you. I even prepared it, but I forgot to copy this on this computer. Jesus Christ. This one. No, that's an old one, actually. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ellie, help me out. I know that you had one. Oh, okay. Yeah, that it is. But I don't understand one thing. Okay, just a second. I will show it on the screen. Now there's one thing I cannot understand at all. So here we have like a list of wild berries warehouses. All right, let me enlarge it for you, my friends. After receiving a lot of spam from like for over these years, all right, the word enlarge, I'm trying not to use it because it freaks me out. But anyways, top 25 warehouses of wild berries in Russia. You can see number 1 Kaledina, meh. 2 Elektrostal, 3 Shushari, 4 Krasnodar. Then we have 5 Kazan. It was kind of hit, it didn't burn much. Also Voronezh and Kotovsk were also hit, they didn't burn much, but Nevinnomysk burned well. Penza and Sarapul, literally just like yesterday. Simferopol, Ryazan, Stalingrad, Utkina, Zavod, Novosemiykina, the 25th. One thing I cannot understand is why do they grow? I mean, in the beginning there were like 20 warehouses. Then the more we strike them, the more warehouses emerge on this bingo card, all right? There were 20, then there were like 22, 23. Yesterday only I saw there were like 24, and now there's 25. What the hell? Do they build the new ones or something? I have no freaking idea how it works, but generally those are not all the warehouses. Those are just the biggest warehouses, okay? And that is why whenever we strike another one and then another one, then apparently Ukrainian defenders go like, that one is not that big, but I think we should include it because it's still, all right, it's worth. And you can use big and no, my friend, no. Yeah. So somehow they grow. On the other hand, I think I know how it works because when you publish such bingo card, you expect that those specific warehouses will be hit, and then some other warehouse not included in that bingo card becomes a toast, and so you need to make another bingo card. The most important Kaledina still is existent and not for long, I think. But on the other hand, Kaledina is kinda hard to hit. So most probably we're just waiting for the right moment to do that. I think so. That's just my suggestion. What else? What else? What else do we have? Those warehouses burn as good as most of the oil refineries. They kind of do. And again, like, I've seen a lot of fires. Actually, things burn very well. But generally, things burn because they can burn, all right? Because they contain a lot of energy inside of those things. And that is why we can see those warehouses burning extremely well, even compared to like other fires I've seen in my life. Yeah. How about instead of fire stamp, use... Oh shit! Oh my god! I gotta show you this because I made this compilation and I didn't remove those pictures from my iPad, and literally like every time I open my tablet and I see this shit, all right, it sounds like, I don't know, a screenshot from freaking only facts, all right, this stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna delete this. I will keep it for myself, just in case. When I'm lonely. Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. Like, big leaps, we should definitely include instead of like this, like fire depiction. We can use like one of those beauties, one of those fishes. That's so good. What kind of people must you be to call your nuke Satan? I think it's kind of different situation because in Satan is American designation for the Russian missile. They have designations for the Russian missiles that start with S, not with S, but with S. Satan, swordfish, like whatever you call it, you name it. So that's the case. So many Russian women have been stung on the lips by a bumblebee. Like, I don't know. I posted that compilation, that beautiful picture, just because I couldn't avoid sharing the Russian beauty with the rest of the world, right? What kind of man would I be? And when I posted it, a lot of people go like, actually, a lot of Ukrainians do that too. Guys, not a lot. Trust me, when you watch video in the Russian social media, every time after like another strike on the Russian refinery, another 5 kilometer long queue to the gas station, another like wildberry fire, every first video is like this. Recently, I started like being afraid of like baboon's ass for some reason. I never had this phobia, but in the morning I wake up, like I have like cold sweat. I'm like, holy shit! I just had a nightmare about a baboon's ass following me everywhere. Like after that shit, because I don't know how to explain it. Literally, I don't know what sort of like I'm not trying to body shame, but that raises a lot of eyebrows, right? That raises a lot of questions. For whatever reason, they just have this interesting trend in Russia. I, maybe we should ask somebody, all right, about this, so they would explain this to us. The leaves are again. We need to ask Sigmund Freud, but unfortunately, he will not. He will not be able to respond unless we can ask somebody wise about this. All right. How does it work? I forgot how to use. Dear wise chat GPT. So we have like a stream, by the way. It's been a while seeing you for the first time. So we're having a live stream and we are discussing the Russian women who massively use the lip filler for reasons we cannot explain. And they look kind of big and ridiculous. Can you tell us why do they do that? And besides that, pretend that you are Sigmund Freud, and being a Sigmund Freud, explain this to us. Does this have some sort of sexual context or something like that? Go.
So, straight up, it's not just a Russian thing. In some circles, a noticeable trend in certain spaces. You've got beauty standards, social media influence, and maybe a bit of conspicuous consumption, like showing you can afford enhancements. Now, if I put on my Freud cap, he'd probably say something like, the accentuation of the mouth is symbolic. He'd read hidden desire into it. But modern psychology is way more cautious. There's no solid evidence that lip size choices are about hidden sexual drives. More often, it's about trends, identity, and social signaling. Sometimes fashion just overshoots, and people follow what's visible, not necessarily what's attractive. Freud would have a field day, though.
I agree on that. Chat, you are diplomatic as always. Thank you so much, and glory to Ukraine.
Thanks, friend. Take care.
So that's the answer, and you just heard the opinion of ChatGPT pretending that he is Sigmund Freud. I think that explains a lot. I don't know, maybe I read Sigmund Freud too much. Which is absolutely natural. I'm a man, all right? We are not perfect, which is something that makes us amazing. So, what else do we talk about? Let's not talk about fish, okay? However, today I've been to the pool for the first time since I was 7 years old. 6 or 7 years old. Yeah. So it's like for the first time in like 34 years, I've been to the pool, and it was a very, very interesting experience when you like surface and you can see somebody's like rear part like this big, literally just like emerging in front of you. Yeah. Something you don't expect. But it was kind of cool. Comrade ChatGPT. Yeah. ChatGPT is not always that diplomatic. Sometimes he's a very, very proper ChatGPT. Sometimes he goes like, yeah. Sometimes he's like overly protective. Remember the time when I wanted to calculate how much money would Russia lose spending them on drones rather than smaller arms? and I, like, for some reason I forgot that I'm actually talking to ChatGPT, and I asked him, like, dude, how much does, like, Kalashnikov or RPG-7 and the munition to them cost on the market today? And then immediately I felt like, the FBI guy clicked a button on the PC somewhere, or like some other man somewhere in Virginia clicked on my user pick. I literally felt it with the back of my head. Like, you got to be very very precise about what you're asking, even if it's ChatGPT. Last I went to the pool was in Iraq in 2010. Wow, really? Can you tell us about this story, please? I would really like to. Guys, if you haven't joined our Discord, please do that. And I think that most probably it would be a great idea to have some sort of like voice conversation, because, guys, you have so many amazing stories which I would really really like to hear. And unfortunately, when we talk like this, I am talking, you are typing, and of course it's not uh, anything like an equal conversation. It would be really, really, really cool if we could have some sort of voice chat on the Discord and share our stories. Sometimes I go to a different city and meet other members of our family there over a glass of beer, but unfortunately, I cannot do it a lot because there's a lot of our family members all over the world. That is why sometimes we can have, like, I don't know, chat drinking session or something like that. Unskippable ads that like a minute long. Like right now on this stream, that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks, but I think that I can actually change it in the settings. Bombarded by the ads. Holy shit. Okay, guys, next time I will do something with the settings and make sure that you're not bombarded, because it's like, yeah, that's kind of strange. I am very, very sorry about that. I have no idea, frankly speaking. I'll check it out for you, I promise. YouTube controls the ads, not the YouTube. Actually, yes. Actually, YouTube content creators can also control the ads. They can, I think, select the type of ads that can be shown. Like if you want it to be a picture or a video or something like that. But I gotta check it, okay? I will check it out. I am so sorry. I didn't expect this stuff. All right. Just joining Brave, there is no ads. As an option, by the way, I have Brave browser installed myself, literally because I have a million of different browsers and different accounts to be able to read Russian media as well and stuff. So that one is interesting. Chrome eats so much resources for whatever reason. I don't know. I remember the times when Chrome was like 60 megabits, 5 megabytes when you download the installation file. Of course, it would take like half an hour to download 50 megabytes. It was that long ago. Yeah. But guys, I promise I will do something to the advertisement. Because in fact, the creators they cannot change everything. They don't select what sort of advertisement specifically is shown, because that's up to the YouTube. But they can select whether they want their video to be monetized or not, and I think they can select some other options. I will check it out. So sorry for the inconvenience, my friends. I didn't expect it to be this way. Okay, what else? YouTube thinks I'm Spanish just because listen to a lot of 80s salsa. Ah, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't watch many Russian YouTube channels on a YouTube, but for some reason, from time to time, I receive a lot of Russian channels with like 20 views, 50 views, a lot of like Russian content all of a sudden. I have no idea what's going on. Primarily, I watch stuff on Russian platforms. So if it's YouTube, I keep YouTube for myself. All right, I'm watching what I like aviation, like things like that. What was the most recent that I watched on a YouTube? Yeah. Why flies die when they see dead flies? How Adam Smasher became Fullborg in Cyberpunk 2077. GTA San Andreas. Evanescence, who will you follow? Holy crap, my friends. Yesterday, I watched this music video for the first time. I had like a flashback. I literally felt like watching good old Evanescence in like mid 2000s. It was so good. Rammstein Adieu was good, but I don't know. Marilyn Manson Front Toward Enemy. Again, like kinda yes, but kinda hard to tell. I honestly believe that The Hollywood was Marilyn Manson's best album ever. What else did I watch? Pavlo Zibrov, Marina. Yeah, I was showing this stuff to my ladies. I tried to explain my lady what estrada means, what the Ukrainian popular music means. All right, that is why I showed her Pavlo Zibrov. I will drop it on the Discord if you're very curious, but don't hate me after that. Rammstein Sonne, ja. Rammstein keine Lust, ja. Genau. And also I watched Black Square Commander 114 because recently the Black Square published some kick-ass add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator and I had enormous pleasure flying it. I wanted this on my birthday, but it was only published like 20 days after my birthday, so I had my birthday gift delayed just a bit. Yeah, and it was so cool. I'm flying over my house in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I can see all the stuff, like little, like park, like everything, and everything looks really, really cool. In fact, it's so good that when in Microsoft Flight Simulator I walk around my house, because it's made with the Bing map, I can even see like a sewer hatch on the ground where it actually is. Because when I park my car, I use this sewer hatch as an indicator. I know that if I park on it, like almost on it, I'm parking perfectly, so like, I have space in front and behind. Like that crazy. And this freaking sewer hatch is in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's crazy. Are you a Dio fan? So I believe that I still need to get acquainted with Dio because I know and respect Dio, but I was never a fan. All right, I'm fan of more later metal, like 2000s, like Sepultura after Max Cavalera. I'm not a fan of Max Cavalera anymore because he's a fucking vatnik. Sepultura, Il Nino. Il Nino is amazing metal music. If you like new metal, if you're still a fan of new metal. But specifically, if you like good Latin influenced metal, it's fast, it's emotional, it's Latin, it's very, very beautiful and good. The music is beautiful by itself, and it's very, very emotional in a Latin way. I was a huge fan of Il Nino since I was in school, probably, all right, or in the university. They're just so good. How Can I Live, both Spanish version and English version, still one of my most favorite hits ever. What sort of Ukrainian bands can I recommend? Oh my God, we have so many of them in our Discord. We have Space of Variations. If you like some proper metal, Space of Variations, 100%. Then we have a black metal band called White Ward. Then we have Hell On. Then we have Ginger. Come on, everybody knows Ginger. Ginger is absolutely amazing. The Hard Kiss, if you like rock, all right. If you don't want something like too extreme, check out the Hard Kiss. Again, the Hard Kiss. Everybody knows them. They are so good. They are just, yeah. You're kind of young for Dios Hate. I think so. I don't know. Like the older I become, the more I listen to like older metal bands, like more classic metal bands. However, Metallica was always my favorite because they are legendary, all right? And you can enjoy Metallica no matter how old you are. If you're a metal fan, if you are a metal head, you will listen Metallica no matter if you're like 5 or 55, all right? Only Russian music I like is Prokofiev and Noise MC, Swan Lake Coupe. Yeah, Noise MC, he's considered a proper Russian dude because he's not afraid to show that he doesn't support Putin's war. That is why I respect Noise MC. And generally speaking, before the war, before all the fuckery that started between Russian swamps and good Ukrainian people, Noise MC was actually not that bad. I remember I used to hang out with hip hoppers and rappers for reasons I cannot explain. I was always like metalhead. They were always like hip hoppers and stuff. We just hanged out because we studied in the same school. But they would listen to Noise MC themselves. Have you listened to Muse? Of course, of course. I don't show this much, but I enjoy emotional music big time. Lacuna Oh, that's my love since I was in the school, in not even in the high school, in middle school. Lacuna Coil is amazing Italian band, melodic metal, female and male vocals. They also made a soundtrack for one of my most favorite computer games, which is Vampire the Masquerade 2 Bloodlines. The soundtrack is actually their song called Swamped, I think. They are so awesome. They are legendary. So if you want to listen to something, again, something like Latin/Italian, melodic, emotional, and heavy, not extremely heavy, that band is your choice number one. Yeah, they are just so good. I was raised on Western metal. I'm talking like American music and European music. Nightwish, yes. Even my lady listens to Nightwish. We enjoy Sleeping Sun. That's hit number one. All right. Every single time you drive the car and you listen to Sleeping Sun, you have like goosebumps every single time. Behemoth, yes, everybody listens to Behemoth in Ukraine, especially in the army. A lot of guys listen to Behemoth. Polish band, by the way, big supporters of Ukrainian armed forces, respected, loved, and simply admired by all Ukrainian metalheads and Ukrainian soldiers. Those are legendary guys. Yeah, I would love to have them on my stream sometime. I hope these dreams come true eventually. Funny to me that they call Dio the grandfather of heavy metal. Well, let's say he was. He is the classic, all right? So, like, no matter how you call them, but they are classics. They are immortal. They will only there will always be there for us. I posted a video of young Starsky singing metal like 3 months ago on Discord, and he still doesn't know. Yes, I admit I don't know still. Yeah. Oh my god, I have such a huge spider. Jesus, Ellie, do you want to see it? It's like the biggest spider I have ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, I'll send you some close-ups. So, what's next? Europe has metal. Well, again, Space of Variations. Please check it out. Lacuna Coil, Italy. Please check it out. All the black metal genre, Sweden, Baltic countries, it all comes from there. So basically, yeah. If you want something more commercial, then of course there's like United States. You have many bands that are, let's say, commercial bands. I don't know if it's right to call them commercial, like Slipknot. I don't know, Korn. But then you have like canonic black metal, Sweden, Norway, you name it. So if you are in Ukraine right now, would it be part of the street protest? I would be part of media people talking about this protest, most probably. But on the other hand, I don't know, if I was in Ukraine, I would probably be in the army at this point. Because yay, Snow Jane, yo, Simon, how are you, my friends? Please tell us that you are fine, all right? Because Simon was bringing the cars to Ukraine, and greetings from Maidan. Jesus Christ, we are talking about my hometown, about Kiev. Please let us know if everything is okay. Probably Tegenaria. Yes, probably that one, but I'm not sure. Looks like Black Widow to me, but because I have arachnophobia, just like Ellie, by the way, every spider looks like Black Widow to me. Not like arachnophobia, right? Not like I'm scared of spiders. I just try to stay away. Stay away. Yeah. Finland, a lot of Finnish black metal bands, Swedish. Oh my God, like whole Northern Europe is actually very, very known. So you're taking rest, Simon. All right, please enjoy. Please join us and enjoy. All right. Yeah. All the Northern again. European metal, Rammstein. Come on. Rammstein, Oomph, all right, same. Oomph is a great singer. He's got amazing voice. Rammstein, the band that actually made industrial metal a thing around the world. And I understand that Rammstein is not really popular in the United States. They even have a song dedicated to America specifically. But Rammstein, at the same time, they are a genius band. All right. And I'm a big fan. My lady, who grew up in the Muslim society where generally they don't listen metal much, but she absolutely loves a lot of their songs. Deutschland, very good, very provocative. Zone, Die Zone, all right, many others, and I'm their big fan as well. So Rammstein is just so nice. Till Lindemann is also a great dude because when the Russian invasion of Ukraine started, he was actually helping Ukrainian refugees in Berlin. So he has my respect as well. What else do we have? So if it's black, it might be Amaurobius, but they're usually in the cellars. I don't know. To them, you are a mountain. Yes, yes, I agree on that. Like, I know that spiders are afraid of us more than we are scared of them. But you know, the fear and love, they're both blind. Listen this. So light song, swallow the sun, descending winters. Yes, I will even make a screenshot of that because I'd love to see that. I'd love to hear that, actually. Ukrainian language. If you know a bit of Ukrainian language and you know people speaking Ukrainian language, you can actually encounter some very, very interesting things, like when your Ukrainian friend tells you in English, do you hear the way it smells? All right, like, do I hear the way it smells? Yes, because in Ukrainian we say "Чи ти чуєш, як пахне?" Do you hear the way it smells? So yeah, one thing that you should be aware of, and don't be surprised of that if you have Ukrainian friends. All right. I'm convinced the mosquitoes here are Russian agents. That's literally because we have the mosquito season this summer in Ukraine, and by the way, the worst ones are in the Donbass. Oh my god. They're just so crazy. Metal from Sweden, Mustache in Flames, Dark Tranquility. Yes, those are the ones. Yes. I watched and listened to them so much when I was young. Did you research every musician's pro and anti-Ukraine altitude you listen to? Most of them. That's the reason why I don't listen to Max Cavalera. Soulfly died for me, and that is the reason why I also ignore Limp Bizkit, because Fred Durst is a mofo. Very, very bad mofo. All right. So he's Vatnik, he's Russia lover, he's... When you look at Fred Durst, you understand why he's a douchebag, basically. That's all. Where have you been for the past 2 weeks? I will answer this easily, my friend. Unfortunately, I've been sleeping most of the time. So I took a kind of Starsky Food and Metal channel, yeah. I took a kind of tiny rest. I kept working with the UATV, but I needed to rest a bit. And it wasn't like I went to Malta or Italy. I literally spent most of the time sleeping because I'm not sure if it's a result of long COVID or if it's result of my service or something, but I need to sleep several times a day. And I literally, like, in the afternoon, I just go to bed, I wake up in the evening, and when I look at the clock, I understand that it's already too late to do something. So I spent these couple of weeks just sleeping as much as possible. I don't know. Sometimes I think that, yeah, most probably it's actually worth it to go and check professionals. But, like, I don't know. It's not that uncomfortable yet. All right. Nothing compared to, for example, what is happening with Roman Trochimas, because he's been through much harder shit than myself. All right, he's seen some and survived some very hard and dramatic episodes. That is why, when people talk about PTSD, I'm not the one who will be like jumping around saying, "Oh my God, I suffer so much." But at the same time, from Greece, fuck Putina, yay, yay, hello, we support you, my friend. Thank you for supporting us. Yeah, but at the same time, some things like feel annoying. All right, like you function properly, you make videos, and you're like motivated and inspired and ready to work, and then 3 hours before you plan the stream, you just switch off. Literally, after the pool, I fell asleep. I woke up and I'm like, did I even fall asleep? How did it happen? Where am I? Who are yes, I know you. All right. But like, where am I? Why did it even happen? So it's kind of strange. I'm trying not to be overly dramatic about this. Again, I don't consider that, I've been through some serious shit as like, no, not the case. But sometimes I think like long COVID, that may be the biggest problem. Not even PTSD, right? Frankly speaking, like the only PTSD I have is still like I kind of wanna pee when I hear like Boeing flying still, and sometimes when I hear the car passing, by my house, everything kind of shakes and I have a small panic attack. Yeah. Then just recently, my lady playfully, like, gave me a playful smack. Um, I had to count to 10, to turn off my combat instincts immediately because in the army, you are trained to react very, very fast, and especially in police as well. You're trained to react very, very fast. If somebody tries to punch you, you gotta react that very second because this saves your life. And that is why such things. I'm explaining this because if you have somebody in your family who is a veteran of a combat service or a police service, you're probably acquainted with this. There are things that are very triggering for the veterans. All right, for people who have either combat experience or experience of working in the law enforcement, unfortunately or unfortunately, I have both. So yeah, I also explained this to my lady, so she was aware. Because, like, you know, we both gotta be careful about that. Air raids here are now very bad. Yes, I am aware of that. And these strikes, they are absolutely crazy. Actually, yesterday and the day before yesterday, I spent a couple of nights literally monitoring everything. Like, I'm sleeping with my one eye. The second eye is like reading everything on the phone in the communities because, the situation is pretty much like it was in April, May, June 2022. Pretty much. Because back in those months, we didn't have anything to protect ourselves against the Russian ballistics as well. The Patriots arrived only later, and it was nasty like today, basically. Like summer 2023 was, I cannot call it relaxed, but summer 2023 was safer, all right? Those who were in Kiev and remember Kiev in 2023, they would agree that like Russians launch, I don't know, 10 missiles or like 11 Kinjals, I don't know. They all get intercepted immediately and everything's fine. Later, Shaheds emerge. So we start preparing the mobile firing teams to counter those Shaheds. And again, it was easy. Yeah, not easy, but it wasn't as hard as Russians expected. So then they started building more of those Shaheds. But before that, like early months, March, April, May 2022, they were actually bad because we couldn't do anything. Last week was insane, 17 common missiles, yeah. That is one of the reasons why you should never ignore air alert these days. Because some of my friends are going to Ukraine as well, by the way, very, very soon. Friends in Germany specifically, and yeah, I'm kind of worried for them. But with that, my friends, you know, we are approaching the end of this stream. I'll finally go and have coffee. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Simon, please stay safe, all right? And please text me. I don't often have time to respond, especially if I'm like bumped with the messages, but I always read you, all right? Please keep me informed if you're fine and if everything's okay. By the way, Simon is spending his own money on delivering cars and other supplies. And yo, for 1420 is here. Hello, Daniel. Hello, hello. Simon is spending his very, very own money on delivering those trucks to the Ukrainian soldiers. And sometimes he's so crazy, so he basically has nothing to eat, all right? I bought 2 kilograms of coffee beans today. Yes, I know that, my friend. But I hope that someday, Simon will give me his PayPal account so I could share it with you, my friends, because he actually needs support himself. But he's like too shy to admit it. Yeah, Daniel, hello, so good to see you here. Unfortunately, we're already running out of time. We're calling it a night because we've been streaming for 2 hours, and it was actually a very, very interesting stream. So please check it out if you want to get more acquainted with the topic. Can you sleep after having coffee this late? Yes, actually I can. Because coffee works in a strange way, generally speaking. It's like I drink coffee before going to bed and I sleep like a baby. And in the morning, I drink coffee to wake up and it still works. I have no idea. Send money to Harvey EOD. I support this. I really do. Ellie, I'm not sure if you have Harvey's PayPal. If you do, please post it in the chat, all right? Because I didn't prepare it. But again, Harvey EOD and his team, they're doing an amazing job in Ukraine. They are demining the territory. Currently, Ukraine is the most mined country in the world, unfortunately, and those guys are doing a fantastic job by saving Ukrainian people from those mines. So yes, Harvey is doing a great job. He absolutely deserves our respect and our support. And just a tiny reminder, my friends, also please check out the link in the description. We have a fundraiser for the Ukrainian border guards that we are running together with Car for Ukraine. You mentioned having ADHD. Caffeine works weird for... I'm not sure if I have it even, but I kind of think I have at times, all right? So we are running this fundraiser for the Ukrainian border guards, expecting to bring them the truck. We're halfway there. And I will be extremely, extremely grateful to everybody who supports this fundraiser. The link is in the description. And basically, yeah, there's already, I believe, more than 70 donors. As far as I remember, absolutely legendary people who already contributed to this amazing cause by Car for Ukraine. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody who participates. You are absolutely legendary. With that, my dear friends, I'm like, I have a Sahara desert right now in my mouth, because like I feel like I will start spitting sand. I need coffee. I will not keep you occupied any longer, my dear friends. Thank you so much for watching. What else can I say? Stay safe, have something good after this stream, because you absolutely deserve it. All right, that's the only thing that actually makes you happy, despite all the stuff that happens around you at any given time. Good food is always there for us. So have something good, be safe. I'll see you later. Miss you, my friends. Love you, and see you soon. Bye-bye.